Every year, thousands of runners flock to this unassuming building on a corner of the Boston University campus. That's because inside BU's Track and Tennis Center is one of the fastest tracks in the world.
There's something special about this BU track. We've got the reputation that, hey, if you want to run fast, you go to Boston University.
But what makes one track faster than another? Can a track's reputation for being fast inspire athletes to run faster than they ever have before? Or is it all just a matter of physics? This is the David Hemery Valentine Invitational, the biggest meet of the year for BU's track. Nearly 5,000 athletes have come to compete in almost 40 different events. This year, teams from as far away as Oregon and Texas have come to run. Many have come specifically to attempt collegiate, national, or even world records.
It's always been known as a fast track, but in probably the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years, the reputation has just exploded.
That's Gabe Sanders, director of Boston University's track and field and cross-country program. As the host team for the BU track, he has reason to be proud. In the past 10 years, an extraordinary number of records have been broken on this track.
It's now known in many circles, most circles, as the fastest indoor track in the world, bar none.
But wait, let's back up a second. How can a track itself be fast? What does that even mean? Unless you happen to be a track and field athlete, when you picture a track, it probably looks something like this. These outdoor tracks are 400 meters, 4 laps to a mile. Indoor tracks are different.
The traditional standard indoor track is 200 meters. And for years and years and years, the standard has been, flat 200-meter tracks. But decades ago, they discovered that a bank track will actually allow people to maintain their speed better.
Now, you might think that making part of the track essentially uphill would hurt a running time, not help it. But actually, the opposite is true. We asked TJ McKenna, a science educator and track enthusiast, to try to explain it.
When you're running, there's so many forces at play that are acting on you. But when you really boil it down, you've got gravity pulling you down, and you've got that normal force, which is on the ground, that's really going to push you back up. And so the real force that you're missing is the centripetal force to get you around the corner. I would have to either lean in towards the center or actually twist, kind of torquing my legs to create a little friction. And all of that takes extra energy. And when you're running and you're trying to run fast, you don't really want to waste any of that energy.
But on a banked track, the shape of the track itself does the work for you. Because the curved part of the track is raised up at an angle, it pushes the runner back toward the middle of the track, generating centripetal force.
It's really about turning into these corners fast and being able to harness some of that energy. If you catch it just right, it's really going to slingshot you around the corner.
BU's track has an 18-degree bank with an asymmetrical shape that is steeper going into the turn and more gradual coming out, while many other tracks have 10 to 11-degree banks with a symmetrical shape.
Our track is a permanent fixed structure. The underlying surface is made of wood and plywood. It's not a metal structure, which many other bank tracks, most other bank tracks are made of metal. You're going to get a higher return, a higher energy return with that wood surface.
But Coach Sanders thinks there's more to the speed of BU's track than its physical properties. He thinks the track's reputation might be a self-perpetuating phenomenon.
When you walk into here and you know the lore and the history of how fast this track is and how fast people have gone on this track, there's this feeling that you get just stepping on the track.
This begs the question, can a track's reputation for being fast actually make runners run faster? Anna Ward, an expert in sports psychology, says yes.
It's this idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Athletes will periodize their physical training, which just means they're putting their training into stages to then peak at certain points. Often athletes will peak or look to peak in conference championships or national championships, but if they know they have a meet at the BU track on their schedule, then they might actually periodize their training to then run their best on the BU track.
So which came first, the chicken or the egg? A track doesn't develop a reputation for being fast without first hosting some truly fast meets. Back at the Valentine Invitational, the stands are packed, the crowd is humming. It just feels like something momentous is about to happen. Coach Sanders credits a lot of the success of the BU track to the energy at their meets.
We've held unofficially some of the highest attended meets in NCAA history. There was a year where we've had over 5,000 entries. If you know you got some fast competitors on the track, let's say some people that have been on Team USA, that have been on international rosters, that are professional athletes, that are known as some of the fastest runners in the NCAA, you're going to stop what you're doing, you're going to take notice. It is a wild atmosphere in here. Like it gets popping.
So with physics, geometry, expectation, and sure, maybe a little bit of magic, you have the recipe for one of the world's fastest tracks.